Thank you, Anita. Or is it me only? Sorry. Just give me a minute. Please become comfortable. I'll just share my screen. Please start to become comfortable. Let's do the Anapanasati meditation with divine guidance from Brahmarshi Pitama Patriji, Mahavatar Babaji, the Galactic Federation of Light, and all the masters who have come together to give us information in this book. Cross your legs, clasp your hands, remove your spectacles, close your eyes gently. Slowly relax your body from head to toe. Forehead is relaxed. Face is relaxed. Neck is relaxed. Shoulders are relaxed. Hands are relaxed. Entire back is completely relaxed. Stomach region is relaxed. Legs are completely relaxed. Hips are well rested. Calf muscles, feet, soles are completely relaxed and relaxed and relaxed. A longer out breath relaxes the body. The focus and intention on each part would be to relax it. My forehead is relaxed. My face portion is relaxed. Shoulders are relaxed. My hands are relaxed. My entire back is completely relaxed. My stomach is relaxed. Hips are relaxed and relaxed and relaxed. My hands are well rested on my lap. My leg is relaxed. My feet is relaxed. Continue to relax the body as much as you want, and then proceed to the Anapanasati meditation when you feel completely rested and the body is very comfortable. And the mind feels like it has settled in some place. Thoughts will come and go, but you will not feel the urge to move the body. Then watch your breath like a sentry. If you get distracted, when you have the awareness, come back to your breath. slowly come back to yourselves. At the count of 5, keep your palms on your eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. With a beautiful smile, you can now open your eyes. Welcome to day 10 of Divine Design. So, I hope you have been reading the book by yourselves and also able to understand things. So, thank you for your questions. It helps me also to think deeper, right? Thank you very much. I'll just answer some of the questions that were in the group, right? First one was Priya's question. She was asking if she was asking about her helping her friend out, right? Her friend is doing some PhD or something. And then she asked for help and she wanted to know if it's interference. See, uh, if the friend asked for help, if the friend asked for help and then you helped, that is okay. If the friend did not ask for help and then you see her that she's struggling and you felt a pity on her work and then you offered help, that is also that is something that you need to relook at what you are, your emotions, and why do you think somebody struggling with their school work or something needs help in terms of physical help, right? So there are also some people who will help when they are not asked for help, and then when they get a bad feedback or some kind of criticism or some kind of thing like that, they also feel bad. So that is also one aspect to look at. So is it coming from inside you that you need to pity her and help her, or if she asked for help? So I think she says she was intention to submit. I said her, if you need any help, tell me, I will do it. So maybe she asked for help, and see, and even help, right? If you are able to do help in terms of document, more than doing some intellectual work, maybe binding her documents, or let's say putting the papers together, something like typically anybody would do, brain dead kind of work, just coming together and helping her arrange things, that is okay, I feel. That is a good form of help, and it is also called humanity. So you'll have to understand whether you are actually feeling the pity for them, or they asked for help. And if they did not ask for help, then you have to still start looking at uh, like why did I think she needed help? So why did I think she needed help? So if you can just start looking from that angle, it will sort of give you an understanding of why I thought she needed help. Because every person who's struggling, even a pupa struggles. Sorry, the worm, the caterpillar inside the pupa also struggles a lot for lack of room and all that. So that struggle is necessary for it to become a butterfly. So are you taking away uh, that luxury or that learning from that person? So you'll have to think whether the aspect that you are trying to push in and then trying to do it off for her, is she going to miss out some wisdom and experience from that? Because I have experienced this when I was in school. I went and asked my mother to actually read Kannada for me, because I mean it was Kannada was my second language, and my mother also knew to read very well. So just to shortcut the entire process, I had to finish off the stuff for my exams and tests and all that. So I made her read, and I would hear, and I knew how to write, so I really did well, and I would get very good marks, 90% and 95% kind of thing. But what actually happened in my life is I was not able to read Kannada documents fluently over a period of time. as an adult, I actually couldn't read. I was able to understand the language, I was able to read slowly, but I was not able to pick up the speed at which a normal adult with a Kannada in school would actually do. And while I was taking lessons from my aunt for Saundarya Lahari and all that, that is when I actually learned. I picked up a Kannada book, and it was complex. So I had to read all those words, and that is when my fluency increased. Reading fluency increased. And then even Hindi was like that only. I made a friend who we were doing a lot of combined studies. I would make that friend read Hindi. She was good in Hindi reading. So I'd make her read, and I would basically, so that process I basically followed in Hindi and Kannada both. So Hindi and Kannada both I followed, and then eventually, so eventually what happened was Hindi also I was weak. So when I took some classes for Bhagavad Gita chanting, I picked up the Sanskrit literature. And Sanskrit and Hindi are almost the same. And while practicing the Bhagavad Gita, for 1 year, I practiced chanting. And that actually helped me improve my skills in reading Hindi also, Hindi/Sanskrit also. So you'll have to see, my mother helped me. She was gracious enough to help me. And then here, I only asked for help. It was not like she said, I will help. I asked for help. But am I not losing that whatever that struggle I needed to do, even if I had to be slow in completing the portions for the test or exam? Didn't I lose out on that fluency? So, see, my daughter did not do her homework for 1 year. We would tell, we will sit with you, but you only have to do your homework. Morally, we will sit with you. Support wise, we will sit with you, but you only have to do your homework. She was in another world. So obviously, she did not do her homework at all. That one complete year. I mean, what I say, and today she's only doing everything. And just because she did not do her homework and teachers were constantly asking us, complaining to us, all that story happened. But it's not like just to shut up the teacher, I did not do her homework and sent the submission. I did not do that. We were willing to face all that challenges from the school, but we did not really do her work. So you'll have to understand if you're actually crossing the lines there. You'll have to think that. And coming to see here, she also says, ma'am, literally, I don't have time to help others. She's actually doing it by force. She herself offered help because she could not actually see that person in trouble. And she herself is also guilty that she doesn't have time, but she's going and helping. So there's so much of mixed emotions in this whole thing. And I only say that you will have to relook at your own emotions and find out why is it that you are wanting to help her and at the same time also regretting helping her or not feeling like helping her. See, when you help them, it is a you should do it like with a sense of selflessness. Again, coming back and saying, ma'am, actually I don't have time, but I'm still going and helping. Who's asking you to go and help? See, there's so much of mixed stuff here. So I think she needs to go look at her stuff here. And Kavita's Maya stuff is Kavita's and whatever, even Roshni's. See, the thing, what I few sentences that I want to tell is this human, we are all that soul. We've been learning about it. And then we are all here for experience that also we've seen about it. So if I believe, and we also know that when I get stuck in when I'm a part of the human body, just to make sure that the experience is genuine, and because of the lack of connection, 100% connection and all that in the duality area, you may not remember everything. We saw that in few sentences, right? Earth did not want to go to fourth dimension and third dimension because there was duality, and she didn't want to ensure that people forget their own true identity. But we are now in third dimension, fourth dimension, which we will come to know why we fell. But because we are here, we don't remember who we are because that distance and connection is very weak. that 5 to 10% is very weak. So the quotient, that 5 to 10% quotient is basically very weak. So because of that, we forget. Now, if I believe I am this body, because we forgot that I am a soul, I now believe I'm a body, right? Which is why we connect to our relatives, we have attachments, we have desires, we have all of those things that you have in the world that you're facing today, confusions. Everything is basically because you think you are a body and you don't think you are a soul. If you, and even if you know you are a soul, even if you know that you are only in witness mode and all of those things, you still act like that only. I mean, as long as the class is there, we do that. And as long as class is out, when we are out of the class, we are constantly interacting with our family members and all that with the same kind of behavior that I am a body. Like if they say, I will not do this work, you will go shout at them saying, you should do this work. Only I am doing this work. Shouldn't you distribute all that? We go into that mode, right? So we definitely use our patterns and our habits very, very generously. So what I would say is, if we believe that we are the body, then why not follow the laws in which this world is made? This world is made with a sense of thing that this world is made with some certain laws, not the macrocosm laws and all that. The laws that nothing here is going to be permanent, because the only permanent thing is you, and experiences will keep changing, and you will continue to move on from one experience to another experience, moment to moment. If you think you are the body, you will get attached to these experiences. But if you don't think you are the body, then you will not be attached to these experiences. You will not be attached to people dying. You will not be attached to, let's say, your desires. You will not be attached to anything. But if you are not in that soul level, why shouldn't you accept life the way it is? And that everything is not permanent. And let us accept that things won't be permanent. Let us at least try to do that. Because if you are not, neither, like they say, no, dhobi ka kutta na ghar ka na ghat ka. So we are neither here nor there. So something or the other we'll have to practice. And here we have to use our will, and we have to use the work towards that. We have to work towards that. Whatever we want to do, whatever we want to basically, we want to be in the body, then accept the way things are. Enjoy your experiences. Practice gratitude, practice surrender, whatever tools help you to accept reality the way it is, accept it. Because you want to be a body, you want to feel like you're the body, you want the attachments, you want expectations, you have expectations, but you don't want the sadness. It is not like that. They come like a package. It's like a package deal. You want the body, then everything that comes with the body is yours. The body's desires, for everything that the ego does is all yours. Desires, likes, dislikes, disappointment, sadness, everything is a part of that. Attachments. In attachments, everything is again coming to likes and dislikes, egos, and all of those things, right? So everything is like a package deal. If you want to be like the body, then yeah, let's accept the way the body is. And there also, let's not bring confusion and try to get happiness every single time. Accept sadness also. Learn from that also. So, for all of those questions that you all have put, everything I would say that accept life the way it is, that is a lot more pleasurable. Because if we are not at the level where where we behave like the Atma and go into witness mode and all that, which is actually quite a high level kind of living, where your sattva is very high. When your positivity is very high, your restlessness, your sadness, all that is very low. You're connecting with God more and connecting with your body less. When that sort of state is predominantly there in your life, you can slowly go to that witness mode kind of living. But if you're not there yet, then let's be a human being properly. Let's accept the human laws. Let's accept that nothing is going to be permanent. People who die will die. People who are in pain will be in pain. And I'm also in pain. I mean, I also have challenges. They also have challenges. Let's accept that everybody has challenges. Everybody's house dosa has the same holes. Everybody has holes in their life. So when we are in that kind of accepted spirit, right, then we are not going to question life so much. Who's going to give you the answer about all these things? Nobody is going to give you the answer. Even if I give you the answer, you're only looking at your own reality. Like I I met somebody who was basically channeling some other soul yesterday, and then I asked certain questions, and then what I heard was actually whatever I already knew. We think, right, if we meet somebody great, we will actually get something that we don't know at all. But maybe I was not ready to take that I don't know at all. And hence, whatever I heard was what I already knew. So it was more an affirmation, or it was more of a thing for me to say that I still need to work on myself. There is nobody else who's going to come and save me. And this happens slowly. It cannot happen because you are restless. We all get restless over a period of time. We want to grab that happiness and all that, but there is no such thing. You have to be what you have to be in the now moment. In our Gita teacher keeps saying, जो प्राप्त है वो पर्याप्त है. Means what you already have is more than enough for you for evolution. What you already have, you have all the books that are necessary for this current class. In this current moment, whatever is that necessary for your evolution, you already have everything. You have not asked for anything, but you already have everything. You may not like it because you may not like fat books of maths, fat books of science, because in the past you may have had smaller books. But it's okay. You still have to accept that that is a part of the syllabus. So whatever you currently have is enough for your evolution, which means nothing. It's like I don't need anything more to be fulfilled. I need to be more aligned to my being. I don't need anything more. I just have to be aligned to whoever I am. That's all. To whatever I already have, whatever I am, all of that. Nothing is out there. It is all inside only. It is all with us. You have the people who are necessary to give you messages. You have situations which are necessary to grow you. Everything is already here. You need to accept it. That's all. So whether this is right, that is right, it really does not matter, because if you think it's not right, it's not right. If you think it's right, it's right. So if you want to, if it gives you happiness, go ahead and do it, because there is some learning from that also. So like I said, what you already have, what you're already practicing is already giving you enough experience, enough knowledge and all that. So go ahead and do whatever it is. There is nothing right or wrong about this whole thing. And then coming to Roshni's mother coming in her dream and all that. If you have pain about her suffering, going through problems and all that, you need to work on that aspect that nobody is actually suffering anywhere. We think they are suffering because we have that suffering inside us. You need to just believe that it's all an experience that she had to go through during her operation or whatever it is. And it's a part of life. And she's moved on. If you are conscious enough in your dream at that time, you can just tell her, you are a soul, and then you don't need to feel pain and all that. Pain is only in your mind. Pain is never in your body. And I don't know if she has a body there. So I didn't cancel the class today because I thought it was a great experience for me to do all these sound effects. I mean, I had a very bad sneezing and all that before this, but I thought it'll be really nice to continue with the sneezing, continue with the coughing, continue with whatever I had. Because if I'm not this body, let the body do whatever it wants. Why should I feel bad that somebody is going to look at me and then judge me? I came with that experience. Actually, my sneezing also is not there. Everything seems to have reduced in this class. I'm also observing. It's there, but it's not actually very severe. Anyway, coming back to the class. So we had done 2.2, opening the 12D grid. I think somebody was asking what would be the reason, Manjula, what would be the reason then for entering into the energetic grid, Smita? Only physical form can experience lower dimensions, right? See, anybody in the grid, see, first of all, you should understand that
Take it.
they're giving one passport. They're saying you'll get one passport for all the 12 countries. Something like a Schengen visa or something that they have, no, in European countries, something like that. You have one visa for so many other, so many countries, something like that only. For all these 12 dimensions, there is a grid, a certain controlled environment where whoever comes to participate will have a body, and they will go through the experience in or any dimension they want. And here the people who have basically crossed over from, let's say they finished 5, they finished 6, they finished 7, earth may still be in 5, but that person might have moved on to 7th also because of his own sadhana, right? That means what? He doesn't have to come back to earth anymore for the experiences, because he has finished earthly experiences, right? So anybody can be anywhere in the grid, but you will have a body. That body can be light body. It will be like light. But from the 7, 7, 6, 5, 4 and all will be physical, like this body. Okay. And then as you cross 5 and all that, the body will start glowing. Sometimes you may have seen, like Buddha had an aura in his picture and all that, right? So some people, when you look at them only, you will feel that glow coming out from there, from that side, which means the body itself is vibrating at a higher frequency, if you've seen such people. So that is what it means. So this controlled environment was necessary. Otherwise, it was never it will never become an experiment, right? Because there'll be so many variables. People can behave the way they want, and anybody can create anything, including if somebody created a round earth, or let's say an oval earth, maybe they can make it square, because they just want to know how energy is going to flow around earth in a square when it is square. So I don't know, many things may differently happen. So which is why they wanted a collective environment, controlled environment. Before we begin to share how higher dimensional consciousnesses are held within the 12D grid, we want to explore the idea of consciousnesses. All consciousness is sovereign, and holds its own field of experience and expression. It chooses what consciousness it wants to experience or feel. So all that we are experiencing today is because we have, at a soul level, we have already planned it. And then now we are executing it through the physical body. When multiple higher dimensional consciousnesses choose to experience a unique expression of consciousness in specific frequencies and dimensional fields, they will hold the same frequencies within the same dimensions. They create and become a collective of consciousness, or what the human refers to as collective consciousness. So if many people are vibrating at a similar frequency, then they all are contributing to that collective frequency. That is what it says. And which means if at the collective level, whatever becomes predominant, if negative becomes predominant, positive becomes predominant, everybody will experience that. In this, whoever in that frequency, everybody will experience that. A collective can hold a variety of frequencies. A collective can hold a variety of frequencies within one dimensional field, or variety of frequencies within the few dimensional fields. If a collective is holding one dimensional field, if it's holding one dimensional field, the entire collective will be experiencing the same spectrum of consciousnesses held within the same dimensional field. If a collective is holding 2 or 3 dimensional fields, then the entire collective will be experiencing a much larger spectrum of consciousness. Basically, what it says is, if a particular group of people are a mix of multiple different frequencies, then they will be experiencing all the different frequencies in that collective. So it is like it's like if multiple if we get together for a potluck, then we'll have different foods from different people. Some may be main course, some may be salad, some may be fruit, some may be, so there'll be different kind of fruits, right? So different frequency foods will come to the table. So like that, but everybody is going to eat everything. So it is still going to, what is available, so that entire potluck food is available to all the people that are there. And to basically that much of variety is there in the potluck. A larger a collective, the more dimensional fields are within that collective. A collective becomes larger by more consciousnesses choosing to enter it and experience it. So how does a dimension become larger? When many people want to come to third dimension, then third dimension becomes predominant. Then when very few people are in 5D, then very few frequencies are actually being used there or expressed there and all that. Okay, typically the largest collective we have seen has 3-dimensional fields in it, which is a 3D. This means that a consciousness within that collective can be holding a variety of frequencies, and depending upon which frequency it chooses, that will place it within one of the 3-dimensional fields. The dimensional field it chooses will provide it with a spectrum of consciousnesses to experience. What is the meaning of spectrum of consciousness? Emotions. Spectrum means range of emotions. The range of emotions will be more. Like one of the 3-dimensional fields means I might be experiencing anger at one moment. At some moment, in one moment, I might be in one of the some dimensional field. Actually, in physics, they call it time, space, and all of those things. Length, I forgot. But I think what were the three things that we basically saw in the first one?
Time, space, and distance, I think.
Time, space, and distance. No, that is a thing. Feminine, masculine, and something else. I forgot. I'll get back to you on that. I think I've written that somewhere also. I should have written that. I have written that somewhere. I don't remember that. I'll get back to you on that. So at some, just take this entire paragraph as at some point people will be experiencing one of the emotions to experience. Okay, it will not be like in this now moment you'll have anger also, frustration also, this also, that also, because everything is happening in that now moment. In that now moment, you may be in only one item at one time. Imagine each collective consciousness as a cloud. A higher dimensional consciousness chooses to experience that cloud and enters it, that we saw. You can imagine it as a light jumping into a larger light. Upon jumping in, it agrees to experience itself as the spectrum of consciousness or consciousnesses and dimensional fields or field within that collective. So I can be somebody else. I can be from Bangalore. I can be an Indian. But if I go and choose to live in UK, then I will have to abide by the laws of UK, and my experiences will be as per how UK is. That is what it says. I might be from somewhere else, some other different dimension. I might be higher than that dimension of that cloud. If that cloud is, let's say, in the fourth dimension or something, I might be coming from the 8th dimension. So that is why it says the higher dimensional consciousness, upon jumping in it, it agrees to experience itself in as that spectrum of consciousness, and it'll blend with the collective. which means it will agree to participate and say, okay, if I become a part of this collective, many group of souls that are experiencing this frequency band, then even I will be impacted by that overall frequency also. Like you can think that they say that the tsunami, floods, and many of these kinds of things, volcanoes and all that, is a result of the collective consciousness of humanity also, which Earth chooses to release that thing like that. It is not just we are also contributing to the collective. If you are contributing always anger in your own family, you can actually see the effects of your anger in the family. You may be the only angry person also, but you'll see that effect in the family. People may not, people may, I mean, you'll see that effect is what I can say. And many people may also become angry with you, whatever it is. Ultimately, you'll add to the collective, you'll contribute to the collective, and then overall at a collective level, what comes back also will come back to you as a frequency. The higher dimensional consciousness becomes the collective, it moves itself into. So now it is becoming a part of that group. It experiences itself as the collective consciousness. It not only it has its own journey, it will also get to experience at a group level the impacts of that group. Okay, so that is what you need to understand. Like I may have cold. During Corona, many people had cold, right? So it is, and I'm experiencing cold because of my karmic imprints. But what about, how do you answer this thing about many people having cold, similar kind of symptoms? This is because of some frequency in which everybody were vibrating on similar frequencies. So eventually that frequency turned itself into this kind of a detox, predominantly respiratory issues and things like that. Higher dimensional consciousness can also choose to experience themselves outside the collective. This is referred to as individual consciousness, which is what I was telling now. Essentially, all consciousnesses that separates from source becomes an individual consciousness, always holding an aspect of source within its field. So which means I have the sense of source within me. All I have to do is I just have to believe that I'm not the body. It's not as easy as it sounds, but I just have to believe that I'm not this body, and then basically go inwards, raise my frequencies and all that. And then what happens? I will get to the source level. I'll get to my evolution. Right? Everything in the quantum field is an aspect of source experiencing itself as an individual consciousness. Choosing to be separate in experience or collective in experience. So this source, right, this God, it has also the option of experiencing me individually, and it also has the experience of experiencing at a group level. So there's so much of variety to experience. In the quantum field, we see many more collectives than we do individual consciousnesses. So we don't know how many collectives are there. We are not paying attention to all that, right? At an energy level, there may be many different kind of groups like this. And it's not necessary that they're all living in the same premises, same physical locality and all that. They can be any part of the world, but they'll all contribute to that frequency, that energetic, that quantum. They'll be giving experience. A source will be experiencing those people at a collective level in that particular part of the quantum field. How consciousnesses exist in the 12D grid. Both collective consciousness and individual consciousness volunteered to drop into the 12D grid. See, so here they're going to talk about collective consciousness also properly. In each collective consciousness, there are thousands of individual consciousness. For example, the Pleiadian collective is the entire collective consciousness. The Pleiadian would be an individual consciousness within that collective. A Pleiadian. So let's say I'm a person from Earth. Now, for example, if I'm coming from the Palladian galaxy or something, I think it's a galaxy. So if I'm coming from the Palladian galactic into the Earth 12D grid, then if I'm coming as a group, if we are coming, let's say 100 people came. If 100 Palladians came, there are 100 Palladian consciousnesses individually. But as a collective, they are single consciousness. They are identified as a group. Okay? When a collective or individual consciousness enters into the 12D grid, only an aspect of its consciousness enters the grid. We have referred to this in chapter 1 as the light quotient. Yeah, we saw that, right? Only a part of that consciousness has actually entered the grid, because they may be coming from higher levels, and they will just come into only as much as what is necessary to connect to that physical. Only a percentage of the collectives or individual consciousness enters into the grid to experience Earth. Imagine the collective or individual consciousness as a pie. Okay? A piece or a percentage of the pie enters into the grid. The remainder of the pie exists outside the grid. The collective or individual consciousness enters the 12D grid with a percentage of its light, which we call the light quotient. So I think even Manjula, you were asking this question, right? You were asking this question, is anybody outside the grid, inside the grid? So whoever has entered into the grid is connected to the body. Now, a part of them is outside the grid. So that is not connected to the body. It is in its original state, the source level. The collectives and individual consciousnesses that enter into the 12D grid are holding a variety of different frequencies, varying from the 40th dimensional field to a 6th dimensional field. So, see, the people who are coming from different dimensions. Some are even coming from the 40th dimension, and some are just coming from the 6th dimension itself. They said, right, minimum 6th only they'll have to be. So some are coming from very far off distances, some not distances, some are coming from 6th only. Consciousnesses that existed beyond the 40th field never chose to enter the grid. There are reasons for that. One, they were experiencing themselves in a frequency that did not desire to feel the 5D frequency. They didn't feel the need to come. The 40th dimension is a very high frequency, and it experiences itself very differently than the 5th. Two, it is very challenging for a higher dimensional consciousness holding a 40th dimensional frequency to shift down into 12D field, right? It is a very difficult one for them to lower themselves, make their vibrations lesser and lesser and lesser. All higher dimensional consciousnesses that enter the 12D have to be able to hold themselves in 12D, which means if I reduce my frequency to 12D inside the grid, a portion of me has to be continuing to vibrate at that frequency as long as that physical body is doing its drama. It's like, it's very difficult to hold a frequency because they have to be mentally situated in a lower field than actually what they are. Imagine if somebody says you are God, but you have to continue to not be God for a long time, which is what we are doing. Because we have not come from some 40th dimension or something, in my opinion. We may have come from somewhere within the 12D frequency, or maybe slightly there only, which is why we are able to continue to vibrate. And we have the desire to keep coming back also to Earth. But if we were beyond the 40 or 40, then we wouldn't be able to come because we didn't have the desire to experience such lower dimensional fields. Okay, the higher the frequency, the more difficult this becomes. The higher dimensional consciousness do not have to shift down into a 12-dimensional frequency. They just need to hold their frequency within that dimension. It is similar to you holding the very high frequency within your human form, entering into a room with humans holding a very lower frequency. They may be yelling, fighting, and discussing low frequency topics, and yet you are standing in the room holding your frequency, right? That is where is that equipoised state that we are talking about. Many of you have asked me questions. I'm always with people who are always gossiping and things like that, right? Maybe your parents are gossiping. There are lots of such things going on, but you need to find ways. You need to find ways, either through knowledge or whatever it is. You need to hold that frequency which you are already in. You need to maintain your individuality. You can, if you're dropping down to their level, shouting at them, don't be angry, you should not fight, interfering in their fighting, all of that, then basically you have basically lowered your frequency to their frequency. You're not holding your frequency. It may be challenging to stay in your frequency, but you do it. This is the experience of the higher dimensional consciousness when entering into the 12D grid. The challenge of being in the 12D is dependent upon their frequency. If an 8D enters the grid, it would not be challenging. Its frequency is lower than 12D, so it can easily hold itself in the grid. If a 25th dimensional consciousness entered the grid, it may have a more challenging time. We had to ensure that all consciousnesses, regardless of the frequency and dimensional fields they held, could safely and comfortably be held within the 12D grid. It is up to them. Whoever wants to participate, they should be willing to basically hold their frequency in 12D. They'll have to lower it to less than 25, which means within 12D, they'll have to be 12 or less to be in that range. Okay. We decided to create zones of physical forms within the 12D grid that would allow any collective or individual consciousness in any dimension field to remain within the grid while participating in Earth. These physical forms would hold higher dimensional consciousnesses that were entering into 12D. It is very similar to Earth's physical form planet holding Earth, or the human physical form holding the HDC. We knew that each zone or form we created would only be able to hold a certain amount of consciousness. We had to ensure all collective or individual entering the 12D would be held within the grid. Therefore, we created thousands of zones. So let's see what those zones are more. We would like to preface that currently there are many more zones in the 12D than we originally designed. As the Earth's experiment progressed, many zones were created by the collective or individual consciousness within the grid. Each collective or individual consciousness had free will. As they began to experiment with low frequencies, they began to multiply or create more of their own consciousness as well as new consciousnesses. We will go into more detail later in this book. What is more important to understand is that the zones we created in the beginning have multiplied 1,000 times over in linear terms. Linear terms means in Earth terms. We created these forms the same way we created anything else, through intent and energy. We took a now moment to instantaneously create the zone. We intended to create forms ranging from the 5D to the 12th, ranging from the 5th to the 12th dimension. We took 12D light codes, shifted them into 5th to 12th dimensional frequencies, and created a variety of different forms. See, these forms you can think are roses, lilies, trees, and I mean, not just that, but different things. Let's say they created few things originally, but many people did more and more things they created. They saw few things, human beings who came there, right? Not human beings, the consciousness who came there, they saw a scope of creating more and more, like similar things. We took the 12D light. So for instance, if we created a 10th dimensional field, 10th dimension form with the intent of holding higher dimensional consciousness in a 15th to 20th dimensional field, we would slow the 12D codes to the 10th. So if something is in 10th, that 15th or 20th guy, 50th or 20th dimension guy should come down, hold that energy into the 10th dimensional field, and that form should, and intend a form to arise in order to hold that higher self. Now, let's say in the 10th dimensional field, if somebody wants to come and they are from 15th or 20th, that body that they create, body means whatever the form, it can be a light form or a light body kind of thing, that form should be able to connect or hold that higher dimensional guy. Okay, so it's not like it has to be physical form only. Many people have got created themselves to experience Earth's frequencies and all of those things in those higher forms also within the 12D. This form would look like what a human would call a star. Okay, a star is in the 10th dimensional field. That is what they're saying. Okay, there are many forms which are existing in many dimensions, and one of them is a star. All the forms we designed at this time created what the humans call the sky. Okay, all the forms we designed at this time created what the humans call the sky. Right? Sky is also a form. They are referred to as stars, planets, suns, moons. When there are group of forms together, it is referred to as the solar system, galaxies, and constellations. So they created separate moon, separate sun, separate planets and all that. But when they came together to form a group, they were referred to as the solar system or galaxies. And you should remember that each of these forms has a higher dimensional consciousness attached to it. So somebody is there behind it, experiencing it. The majority, once we had zones created, the higher dimensional consciousness can enter into the grid and move themselves into one of these zones. They remained within the zone throughout their entire experience with Earth. The majority of the forms we created are what the human calls star systems. Stars and star systems. These forms were easy for us to make as they were requiring very little form, and were able to hold the consciousnesses existing between the 7th and 40th dimensional field. Most individual and collective consciousness that dropped into the grid were held in some sort of form that resembled a star. So many people, like there are some stars, like I don't remember if Palladium is a star or a galaxy or whatever it is. But there are many such star systems also in the 12D grid who are participating in this consciousness. And they are trying to help the people who have dropped down to 3D and 4D. They are trying to wake them up because we are all a part of the same 12D grid. The majority of the forms we created are what called the human calls the stars and star systems. These forms were easy. Okay. Most individual and collective consciousness that dropped into the grid were resembling a star. The size of the collective consciousness would dictate whether it would enter into a single star or multiple stars or star system. The size of the collective. Let's say if Palladian collective was huge, then they would see whether they'll become a single star, whether everybody will enter into a single star as a form, or whether they'll have to become a star system with multiple stars coming together as a group. A collective size is determined by the number of individual consciousnesses held within the collective. And I don't know whether for example, let us refer to a collective consciousness as a group. A consciousness as a person and a bus as a zone. If a group dropped down into the grid with 50 people, that would be considered a small group. It could fit into a bus. However, if a group dropped down into the grid with 150 people, that would be considered a large group, and that would fit into 3 buses. This is how stars and star system work with the collectives. So how they all came together, we don't know, but they've created something called the zone, means like a group kind of thing, and they have grouped things like that. If a small collective enters into the grid, we will move it into one star. For instance, the collective, the humans called the Polaris, is held in one star due to the small size of its collective when it is dropped into the grid. So they say the consciousness who's called Polaris, the collective consciousness who's called Polaris, is held in a small star. Okay, that star is called Polaris, but whoever is behind it, the collective consciousness, is apparently a very small group of people. If a large collective, how much is there? Okay, I think we'll do this and we'll finish it up. If a large collective drops into the grid, they would be held in multiple stars, creating a star system. Star system hold a much larger collective. For instance, the collective the humans call the Orion is held in many stars due to the large group of its collective. So Orion belt, they call it the Orion's belt and all that, no? So that is apparently a big collective. It's a many stars. When you combine stars and star systems together, you get what the human calls galaxies and solar systems. It is all just individual and collective consciousnesses within forms we have created in order to exist within the 12D grid. Another zone we created is what the humans call the planets, moons and suns. These zones were created to be more dense and physical than the stars and would hold individual and collective consciousnesses holding sixth and dimensional frequencies. They could also enter the stars, but many chose and were more comfortable in planets, moons, and suns. So depending on whatever people were comfortable, they went into, they chose to experience and become a planet or a moon or a sun. We created hundreds of planets, moons, and suns. Currently, there are more planets, moons, and suns than we have created in the beginning. They are holding individual and collective consciousnesses that exist within the fourth and fifth dimensional frequency. See, within the fourth and fifth dimensional frequency. Some planets are in even, fourth means duality also. Later in the book, we will discuss how fourth and fifth consciousness got into 12D. Because they said no, minimum 6D. But now even 4 and 5D people are also there, is what they say. Every form we created is holding a HDC, experiencing itself within the form. The form is not the consciousness. It is holding the consciousness. For instance, what the human would call a Pleiadian is thought to be a star being, or another name the human created because it resides within a star or stars. However, a Pleiadian is actually a higher HDC residing within the form called a star. So they say the Pleiadian is actually not the form. Okay, the Pleiadian community, you can't say that they are a star, but it is actually the name of the HDC. Is actually the HDC residing within that form called star. It is neither a Pleiadian nor a star being. It is a HDC participating. Of course, there is a name, but that then there is a HDC participating in that Earth's experiment. So in the Earth's experiment, they get a name called Pleiadian collective. The linear human mind creates a name in order to understand it and believes it is from the form it resides in. The HDC within a star does not come from that star system. It is merely holding an aspect of its consciousness within that form. There are so many people. When I participated in psychic discussions and all that, so many people ask these questions. Can I know from which star system I am from? Can I know from which star I am from? They say we are all called star seeds. Because we came from that burst, right? Spark. So they call us star seeds. In general, they call the star seeds. So they ask, Earth, we think Earth is basically something lower. And we think if I'm coming from some higher dimensional star or some galaxy or something, Sirians, Pleiadian, Andromedans, and all of those things. If I'm coming from that, which is vibrating at a higher dimensional consciousness, a higher dimensional frequency within the 12D grid, then they are better off. So many people think that I am actually from that, but we are not coming from any star. If I've entered a star, I'm choosing to enter the star because I want that experience. If I'm entering Earth, I choose to enter Earth because I want that experience. But originally, I belong to nowhere. I belong with the source. Okay, I belong I don't belong to any star system. I don't belong from anywhere. I'm that HDC, that's all. And that HDC is coming from God. And if I'm choosing to go to other galaxies and other planets and all to work, it doesn't mean that I'm from that place or we are coming. So it's like they are all different destinations, different uh, places, like tourist destinations, tourist places. But they are, none of them is called home. Okay, which is what we have to understand. None of them is home. Everything is basically an experience giving thing. See, here we must understand that people are not just there on earth. This karma concept, right? Karma concept, or the in whatever ways we think, like a 5D person might definitely have a lot of scope to uh, shed his ignorance to become a 7D person. And even if you don't call it karma as such, there will be something that is basically not, that needs to be shed, something lower that needs to be shed to go higher. So like that, every single consciousness that has now entered this 12D grid will have some experience or the other, will have some ignorance or the other, because everybody may have now been thinking that I am less than a source, I am less than God. So we all, many of these masters, they go to different such planets and different such beings. So we see here, we say there are many such planets in the 4th and 5th dimensional field. So if a master is operating from a 7th dimensional space or something, he will go to this 4th dimensional planet. It may not be necessarily Earth, but some other planet. There also there may be different forms, and they may also have to understand what is that I am an Atma, and I don't have to be connected to this body and all of those things. Because anybody who enters a body will now feel very connected with that body, and they obviously are not choosing to move away from that body, because they now like the body. They now like the body that they are in. It is like a child gets a toy, and the child will not part with that toy. So everybody is in a state where if they have to increase their vibrations and keep going higher evolution, if they have to get to the highest part of their evolution, which is basically God, there will be a scope for growth wherever you are in this 12 dimensional grid. So wherever you are, whatever form you are connected to, you will still obviously need some amount of ignorance to shed and to say that you have to get to God level. So that, which is why in Bhagavad Gita they say, in Prakriti, nothing is perfect. That perfection is achieved only when you merge with the source. And it's a process of refinement. It's a process, and you will go to that, you will go beyond that Prakriti, nature of Prakriti, and it's called a gunatit state. You are not a 3-dimensional, you're not that person with a 3 gunas. And everybody in Prakriti has the gunas, and everybody who is having those gunas, who's made up of the gunas, are perishable at some point in time. Like Brahma is also perishable. He may be his whatever, one day might be some yuga or something like that. But and different periods of living may be there, but it is all perishable. But if we should get to a state of non-perishableness and all that, it's another growth, it's another level of going higher, right? But a person who's always in this 12D grid will always have something to shed and go higher. some form of learning will definitely be there. All of the forms we created hold the HDC, yet can be seen by the human as physical forms in the sky. The quantum fields The quantum field holds both the physical form and the HTC. What is seen and experienced depends on the frequency of that one seeing. So, like, who was this? I think Sita in Untold Stories of Sita. When Sita used to speak to her children Lava and Kush, and she would look at the Arundhati star, she would actually be able to envision things inside the star. And she would go and come back. But children would see that as stars only. And they would think that mother is going to the star. But she was seeing something beyond the star. So what you see depends on the frequency that you are in. If you want to see beyond that, then you have to raise your frequency. You have to go to that frequency to be able to see that being in that frequency. Because there is definitely some level of detail in each level of frequency. Like, for example, if you see this bottle, I can see it as a solid object. But if I'm in a higher dimensional form, then I can basically look at this as energy. Because that is what I'm capable of seeing. Because I'm vibrating in that state. So it depends on that. There is simultaneously dense form and HTC within that form. The humans can only see the frequency and dimensional fields their body is holding. For instance, a star in the sky may be holding a 7D Pleiadian consciousness. When a human looks up at the sky, it will only see a physical form reflecting the same dimensional field as their body. So we'll only see a dot. We'll only see a dot which is flickering. A 3D human will see a 3D form. A 5D human will see a 5D form. However, within that physical form is also a 7D person. If the human were holding a 7D, it would be able to look up at the star and see the consciousness, not the form. So I should be equal to that consciousness. My body should be vibrating at the same level for me to actually be able to see the soul behind that physical. Like many people, enlightened masters, right? They say when I look at people, I'm actually able to see their souls, because maybe they are at 5D. If we are all at 3D, they'll definitely be able to see the HDC, which is basically behind the 3D form. We created a sky that is filled with individual and collective consciousnesses participating with and in the Earth's experiment. All of you reading this now incarnated from one of these forms holding an individual or collective consciousness, and many of you visit these forms regularly, right? Originally, we are not from that form, but we are now taking turns to come to Earth for the physical aspect. Our physical was star, no, before. But now what are we doing? We want to experience a human physicality. So there are so many Pleiadians, so many Sirians, so many Andromedans, so many Lycans. All of those people basically have come down to Earth to take human forms and experience karma and all of that. So if we say, where am I from? Yeah, I'm from some star system, which is again within the 12D grid. But who am I originally? I'm a HTC, which is outside the grid. Okay. So I'll stop here. If you have any questions, you can ask. Are you able to unmute yourself? Yeah, you can unmute yourself. I don't know if that locking happened today. Oh, there is something called lock meeting. Maybe I clicked yesterday. Yeah. So any questions? Who's this person? Oh, this Roshini's question, right? Healing and all of that. See, what I would say is, again, if people are coming to you, you're doing your job, because that is an experience that you want to experience. But if you, let's say you are just going to a party, and then you look at people who are suffering and all that, and then you go to them and tell them, you are suffering because you have not done this, you've not done that. I mean, I've been there, okay? I've done that. That's why I'm saying. So then I think interfering happens. If that person comes to you, many people come to me also, and I do that, right? Even I take money and I do services. So, and I look at it more as I am learning something from these people, and I see them as my karmic imprints only, which means I am seeing something in them that is already inside me. So I see my patients, I see my clients like that I see them as my own reflections. And I think that when I'm helping them, because they ask for help, of course, when I'm helping them, if they heal, a part of me heals. That is all. It's still individual it is still individual based only. It is not like they need help, they are suffering, so I am here, this God who's basically going and helping them. No, that doesn't work. So it depends on how you are looking at things. And if they are coming, yeah, why not? See, people like Ramana Maharshi, right? Even people went to him also. But he would not talk at all. His presence itself would heal them. And the very fact that they came to him, it means that they wanted healing. But he didn't talk, he didn't say anything. He was able to go to their deeper states and understand what they want, and he would basically heal them. So, yeah, that is another way of looking at things. Any questions so far? No questions? All want to give me a break quickly. Yeah, Rakesh? Can you come to video? Oh, yeah, you can unmute yourself, Rakesh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah. Just, I mean, I am just outside, ma'am. I will be not able to connect in video. Ma'am, how to connect to the source, ma'am?
Wow, $1 million question, Rakesh. If we had only known that in one sentence, then the world hunger, world poverty, everything would have gone off. See, what I understand is the God is already inside you. HDC is already connected to Rakesh.
Right.
You are not aware of that. How will you become aware? When you stop being Rakesh. How will you stop being Rakesh? When you stop believing that everything that Rakesh owns, Rakesh thinks, Rakesh is, Rakesh identifies with, is basically dropped. And you are now behaving like this person who's just watching Rakesh, unaffected by what all Rakesh goes through. If you can do that, then you've actually connected to that HDC at least, which is again that is plenty divine for you to basically understand. From our level, it is very, very high consciousness.
And when you are saying that higher dimension, when they are falling into this 12D dimension, that form should be again able to merge with that or with that collective consciousness, no, ma'am? So if they are unstable, they will be again going away from that 12D zone, ma'am, or they will be impacted by that original form what they have.
Maybe the form, see, when the disconnect happens, if the soul, if they detach from the form will die.
And what
Like
about,
we've seen stars also die, no?
Yes, ma'am. So we have to raise our collective consciousness to look at the original form of whatever that we are seeing around. Maybe like what you have said right now, with related to the body.
See, you should focus only on yourself for now.
Right.
How do you know which collective you belong to?
Right.
right? We are not in that status. We are not in that level for now.
Yeah.
So you can only work on yourself. Like you should only work on becoming less Rakesh or zero Rakesh, and just connect to Rakesh.
Yeah. And if we are on the earth, we belong to this only 12 dimension, ma'am.
We may be from somewhere and all, but if you want to participate in this Earth's experiment, you can be doing anything in this 12D. Someday I might become a star. Someday I might go and then be a part of the star. Let's say if I'm in 7D, as a human being itself, I raise my consciousness to 7D. Then I can go to that Palladian 7D. We can do anything, provided we are able to raise our if the current body only has to go higher. If you want the same body only, then this body, in this body itself, you have to keep going higher. But if you're willing to say, okay, I'm done with this body, now as HDC, I'll connect to something else, then yeah, you're free to do that. You're free to do that in the HD, in the 12D. Did I answer your question? You went on mute. You can actually unmute yourself. I think sorry. Yeah, you can unmute yourself now.
Ma'am, you please leave for today. I mean, you can barely talk. You're continuously sneezing. You can continue tomorrow.
I'll just answer 2 more questions and I'll be done.
It's not
Yes,
that
Rakesh?
we are getting disturbed with your cupping, but like, neither feeling sorry for you, but I think it's better if you.
No,
take
actually,
rest.
there is nothing bothering me from inside the body. It's just that extra work of sneezing, wiping. That
I
part
can
is there. There
understand.
is no
I myself was
sore
having
throat.
this.
No, there is no
You
sore
have
throat.
become
There is actually nothing
red-nosed
like that.
reindeer. You have become red-nosed reindeer.
It is just the extra blowing nose and all of that. That's all. So that's why
During
I'm
Diwali, this was my condition. Entire Diwali.
yeah, I don't want to blame Diwali, but it actually happened after Diwali.
Mine though happened during Diwali. You can take it easy, man. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll just answer these 2 questions. So Rakesh, did I answer your question?
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, how do we know that which collective we belong, ma'am?
You need to really go at least to 5D to be able to figure that out.
Okay.
To be able, you should be, like you said, your first question, how do I connect to the source? So that connection should be established. Then you will know from where all you came, because you are a multidimensional being, right?
Right.
A part of you may be connected to this body, a part of you may be experiencing in some other body. All that will actually be there. Imagine an onion. Onion has different layers, but connected in the center. So that higher HDC is like the center. I mean, at the source level, it is anyway center. But if you think the HDC is at the center, then that HDC will have different layers. It will be experiencing different layers parallelly.
Yeah. Okay.
That is why they say we are all multi-dimensional beings. It's not like if I become a human being, doesn't mean that I cannot become anything else. But I should be able to hold that frequency for that form wherever I am experiencing.
Right. And when you are saying about the tsunami and these things, calamities, maybe the collective frequency of such kind of people were resonating in that frequency, because of which that calamity might have happened, right, ma'am?
Yeah, that's what people, that's what at a high spiritual level, that's what they say.
Right, ma'am. Got it. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your answer, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Sangeeta? Roshni, you didn't have any question? I thought you had raised your hand.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you thank you, Smita, for the beautiful answer. So many times I remember, that we have to accept, surrender, let go of all these experiences, but then we always forget. We go in the drama, and all that, and we keep forgetting. So that's the only thing I asked you, because I know that we all in a happier place, just accept. But then why do we forget? What's what you're saying? It's all Maya.
No,
Why
it's not. Don't. It's easy to say Maya. It's just a mixture of our tendencies. If the tendency of lower frequencies are higher inside us, habits are more. If the seasoned habits of lower frequencies are more, we'll keep going back to those habits. So we need every moment to moment, we need to watch ourselves and go to those higher frequency habits. We need to practice by forcing ourselves to work on those higher frequency habits. At some point, we will make that predominant in our life. In Bhagavad Gita terms, they call it gunas, right? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. So if and they are always in, which means they are not equal. If Sattva is high, then it will reduce the Rajas and Tamas. If Rajas is high, it will reduce the Tamas and Sattva. If Tamas is high, it will reduce the Sattva and Rajas. So typically, if we have to get to higher levels, higher frequencies and all that, we need to predominantly be in Sattva all the time. All the time. Like unshakable all the time. That is what they say, you can hold the frequency. That is what is called holding the frequency. Irrespective of anything happening around you, you are staying in that frequency. That is what is called predominantly in Sattva. I may be practicing, let's say I may be in a satsang, everything is okay, all the good habits, everything is now in my head. I understand everything. But then once I go back to my family, if I'm going back to my own behaviors, then you were in Sattva, you actually thought right. But then when you drop down in between people who are tamasic or in between tamasic tendencies, or when you are by yourself, whatever is predominantly yours will basically shine and attract it in front of you. So it's a constant work to get to that higher state of living.
Okay. So now just accepting is the answer. No, Smita?
See, when you accept, you are not fighting reality, right? Accepting means what I told in the beginning, right? If you believe you are a body, then follow the laws of this world. And following the laws means what? Accepting that law. Accepting what is happening in front of you as the bodies. Yeah, the play of gunas are basically up and down, up and down, up and down. It's anyway happening. So let it happen. I'll just watch. That watching is basically called acceptance. So that's why we say accept.
Yeah.
Accept and then just move on.
Then
Don't
what
take
about
it to heart kind of thing.
What about the dreams we wrote, in that vision board or whatever, the wish list and all? That's okay. I mean,
see, that's a level of consciousness, manifestation of my desires, because you think that if I don't get that desires, I'm unhappy. If you get the desire, I'll be more happy, which means you are in a state of lack.
yes.
Is it wrong? No. If you really think that is what I want to do, because I really want that desire, go ahead and do it. Go experience that. But what also happens is with every desire comes another imbalance also in life.
Such a beautiful
Be willing to
answer.
take that also. Be willing to accept that also. If I want this, then accept what comes with that as a package also.
Very true. I agree with you, because I've never asked for anything, Smita. Now this is the first time I wrote a wish list and I asked, okay, for few things, okay, for my family, that also. It's not like just for this thing. So, but before previous, I never used to ask. I said, God, I used to meditate.
When you ask
pray.
for your family, it's still you only.
Yeah,
Why?
that's
They are
what.
happy.
I'm
Because your
happy.
happiness depends on their happiness. So that is why again you are still asking for yourself only.
Still, yeah, correct. Got it.
So technically it means that you don't have it as of now.
Yes, I'm not
That happiness
happy.
you don't have it from family.
Yes.
So if I get that desire, then that happiness that this family is missing to give me will give me.
So the happiness which my family is missing to give me, if I accept this itself is enough, no, Smita? If I accept that, yeah, I have to work, I have to move forward, and whatever I have to do for my livelihood is okay. I have to accept that also.
See, do it more like a duty, more like a HDC experiencing all of these things. See, nothing in 12D is basically wrong. Nothing, right from 1D to 12D, nothing is wrong. Everything is a experiment where you, the God, wants to experience flavors. In that, is there a good flavor and a bad flavor? Is that
No.
desire is bad, this is bad? But what they say is, if you want to get to higher dimensions, then you need to let go of the tendencies that keeps you in the lower dimensions. So desires in the lower dimension will keep you in the lower dimension because you are continuing to ask for things here, there only. So that is where detachment and other things will come. But yeah, if you say, no, I want to still continue with, I want to enjoy this also, I want to enjoy that also as a part of this duality itself, then accept duality with its spirit, and then accept the sadness also that comes with the spirit of duality. Accept the desire satisfaction also that comes with duality. That is also an experience. Maybe you'll get bored with it over a period of time and then you'll climb higher. There is nothing right or wrong about this whole thing.
So if I feel I am God, okay, and even my husband is God, my son is God, everyone has God conscious in them, no?
Yes.
So if that the God within them is not putting that a desire for them to work and take up a job or do something for earning, it's okay. I have to accept that part of the God also.
No, what you should see, what they show you is what is yourself only. They are definitely there. That is what is called Maya. They are there, very much participate in this whole exercise. But what you see in them is your frequency, what you are vibrating at, what your body is vibrating. You're seeing through your eyes, you're analyzing through your mind, all that is vibrating at some frequency, no? So what you see in them is yourself. You want to experience reality, right? That is why you came. You didn't tell that, okay, you do this, then I'll experience my reality. It is not like that. So what you see is what you are. If somebody doesn't want to work in your family and you have to work for them and all that, that is a reality that you have created through your belief systems and all of those things.
So I have to work on my belief system.
Have to work, yeah. It is already there, and that is why you're working.
So how to come out of that? Accept.
Why don't you enjoy whatever you're doing? Why shouldn't we get over the system that men should work and women shouldn't work? Or, I mean, it is all a belief system, right? But ultimately, if everybody is neither male nor female and we are coming here in different bodies, at some point in time, maybe you needed an experience where maybe you were a husband and somebody else was a wife, and they were working on your behalf. Now it's time that you work on their behalf.
Okay,
See,
got it.
like I said, jo prapt hai wo paryapt hai. What you already have is already necessary for you to evolve. In that only you need to see good. In that only you need to keep yourself high. How will you do that? That is a challenge. So which means that is where knowledge is already coming to you. Prapt, it is coming to you. You've already got it. Now you need to all apply it.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
See, body is not running the show. The gunas of that Atma, that is part of that Atma that is inside, is basically running the show. That gunas are still a part of the, you can just say, the experience that is necessary. The gunas will generally be running up and down, and then we'll get the Atma will get that experience. Imagine the traffic control police is standing in one corner next to a light pole, whatever that signal pole, and he's switching on, switching off some buttons. So what is actually happening when he's switching on, switching off some buttons? There, orange is coming, yellow is coming, green is coming, and all of those things. But the light pole or that bulb should not think that I am actually doing these things. Because somebody is switching on, switching off buttons, these are happening in the bulb. So like that, somebody behind you is doing these things up and down. And this physical body is experiencing it. Do you have a choice? If you think you have a choice, then you are actually suffering. You feel lack of control, you feel restlessness, all that because you think you have a choice. But what I say is you don't have a choice, because you are under the control of somebody who's running the show. And that somebody can be in the lowest frequency, or somebody can also be in the highest frequency. He only wants to experience anger also. He only wants to experience happiness at some point. When he's experiencing anger, I mean, it's like a full-blown anger experience is coming in front of the physical body. The physical body doesn't like it because it is threatened at some point. But that also is a part of that experience. So, which is why we say accept life the way it is. Wherever you can work, enjoy the working part also, accept that also. Where like you do something but you are feeling unhappy about it, then you are basically in conflict. If you do something, do it with 100%. I'm like full in, completely inside it. Don't go half-half. If you think you're half-half, then consider evaluating yourself. I mean, life is simple, life is also complicated, but we have to simplify it at some point by having some simple rules that I'm going to drop my ego. I'm going to, which is what I keep trying to do. I keep switching between some of these things. I'll drop my ego here. I don't want these kinds of things. I don't want to, I'm going to experience this. Or I would say, I'm anyway not the body, so why do I care? Or sometimes I use surrender. Sometimes I say, I'll accept this as it is. And this too is okay in my reality. I don't have to, if I'm feeling bad that somebody did not do something, who's feeling bad? I'm not feeling bad. It's the body who's feeling bad. So I don't have to connect with feeling bad. I'll just be with that feeling bad. I'll just keep watching it. I'll just be with it. I'll stay with it. I mean, I do multiple of these things. Not like one solution for many of my problems, many of the challenges I have. And constant practice only will continue to keep evolving you. And there's no single solution. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Sangeeta, did I answer? I don't know whether can you come on video? Yeah, Sangeeta.
Yeah. Hi, Smita.
Hi.
My question is this HTC, it's attached to every entity, every human?
No, HTC is that spark that
Mhm.
came out, right? So there are multiple sparks. You are a different HTC, I am a different HTC. I'm connected to something else, you are connected to something else.
So every human, sorry, you were not, I wasn't able to see you or hear you. You came back
No, I was
just a
saying
second
you are
ago.
a different HTC, I am a different HTC.
So is HTC like a soul?
Yeah. And
Okay.
in that soul also there are different levels. Let's say one may be operating, a part of that may be operating inside the grid at a higher level. A part of that may be outside the grid.
Okay, like some people say it's body, mind, soul, and then higher self.
Something like that. Higher self. There is also
So higher
something beyond
self
that.
is also for every individual, or it's like a collective self? The
No, higher
ultimate
self is
self.
only for oneself. For one individual.
Okay, for one individual.
Yeah. And there's a collective soul consciousness also.
And where does this HTC reside? Inside the body?
It is connected to, a part of that is connected to our etheric body. Etheric body, if you understand the 7 layers that we have, 7 aura layers that we have, the etheric body, the second layer is called the silver cord.
Oh, no, this I don't understand. I thought maybe it's Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, that type of.
Yeah, something like that only. But when you sleep, a part of you goes traveling, that you know.
Dream state.
Yeah, how do you experience all that state?
Because when I wake up, I remember it.
Yeah, who's actually witnessing all those things? So you?
The self.
Yes. So There is somebody who's experiencing dream state also. And there you feel yourself is real. But then when you come back to the body, this also feels real. So who is this person who's traveling to dream and coming back and all? But when your body is like fast asleep. So that somebody is connected to this physical body when the physical body is awake. And that same somebody is now traveling wherever it wants in other dimensions and all of that. When it is not connected, when it is, when it makes the baby sleep, when it makes its physical body sleep, because body needs to rest, otherwise it won't work. So it will put the body to sleep in the night, it will recharge it, and then it will go around to its other, you can say, parallel realities. It's multi-dimensional, right? So it will go and visit other dimensions, wherever it is residing, wherever it is participating and as another body. Sometimes you may be participating as maybe a tapasvi in some other life. It will go and visit that also. Something and all. It will just basically whatever is inside that database of yours. It will just go keep visiting all those things. Why,
Okay.
what, all that is a separate thing. When you consciously travel only, then only you will know. But now you unconsciously travel. It means physical's conscious mind is there, right? Physical body's conscious mind. Whatever is associated with this physical body is called the conscious mind. But only when the conscious mind understands, then through this physical body, you can interpret it through words and all that. But what it does not understand, you can't explain. You may have gone and seen it, but it will disappear as soon as you wake up into your physical body, right? Dream also. So that is you. That you is connected to this physical body when it is awake. It is still connected to the physical body because it's participating in this experiment with this physical body, right? But it will, thread, it will become like a thread. It will just go stretch itself and run away to wherever dimensions and all that. Because it can travel. Because physical body cannot go higher. See, what is the experiment all about? The body should have the capability to go to that dimension. If I am vibrating in a 3D frequency, I can only see everything in my 3D lens. My HTC can be any lens. My HTC can be vibrating at any frequency. And that guy is connected to me and experiencing a 3D.
And when I die, does that?
Yeah, when you die, another body
go-
will be formed. So you are
Yeah.
like another clothing, that's all.
But like there's another concept that everything has Brahman in it, whether it's living or non-living. Even a dead body should have Brahman in it.
Yeah.
Then
Brahman doesn't
isn't
always,
this?
yeah, it's not always necessary that it will be like talking, walking and all that. This also has Brahman in it.
Yeah, right. So the soul
They
should
can
be there.
express- No, it doesn't. It's not necessary. The soul has to always be there. The 12D light codes were just they came down and then maybe at some level that energy is concentrated into a form of a bottle. Not everything has forms. Not everything has HTC inside it to understand if it's a bottle or no. Because if there is HTC, then it will be walking, talking, moving. Some activity will be there. Something will be there. Some experience will
But
be there.
HTC is also there with Earth plane.
Earth is
Earth-
definitely breathing.
Earth is breathing.
Yes, Earth is alive. Earth is a
HTC.
living body.
Does a stone have HTC?
There are books which say that we have also, before we incarnated into Earth, before the experiment, during the experimentation and all that, when human beings were being experimented, when the form was being experimented, then they also went into rocks to understand to experience the climatic changes that were happening on Earth. And then only they started moving into moving items like plants, animals and all of that. And before that, they were stationary because they didn't know how to experience air, how to experience water, rain, sun, and all that. They didn't know what it actually will feel like. So they had to stay in a stationary object like a rock, which is why you see rocks like crystals and all, they are alive. They say they are alive.
Okay. But my understanding was whether living or non-living, everything, if they say everything has Brahman in it, then
Yeah,
even a
obviously,
dead
because
body should
everything is a
have
part of
Brahman
that
in it.
source only, no?
Then
Everything.
whatever goes away to a new body is only the subtle body.
Exactly. What you're saying is absolutely right. The soul is not moving. It is a subtle body, a part of that. They say that a part of it was attached to the jiva, they say, right? The jiva. That jiva becomes jiva atma when it basically the whole thing vibrates higher eventually, and then goes and connects to the atma.
So
Atma
HTC
means,
is the subtle body, or is it the Brahman?
No, HTC, a part of the HTC comes like a subtle body. See, it's like this. You can think that the HTC is a very high frequency thing which cannot get connected to the physical unless it has certain layers in between to be able to experience all these things. It's like, for example, electricity is now there. It's flowing through the wires and all. But it's not like we can touch that. We also touch the wire, but we still can't feel electricity because it is insulated. So for us to experience electricity, we need to, it is coming through various different channels, various different forms, through maybe insulations and this and wires and all of that. Similarly, if HTC has to experience the physical body, it has to have a certain level of lower levels to be able to experience that physical. See, this physical body will sleep off in the night. Now, we need a system where I will keep track of whatever is happening, wherever I am going, whatever thought patterns I have, all of that, where it is all that going to be stored? It's going to be still stored at some layer, which is connected to this physical body, which is called a subtle body. And then there is one more causal body. The causal body will have information about whether I should take birth again on earth or no. Which means, do I need another physical body to experience this earth or no? Have I completed all my desires? Have I completed all my quota of experience on earth? All that will be there in the causal body. So like this, it has different bodies and then it experiences. But that is also a part of the HTC, which has descended down to that level. But another higher part of the HTC is also there, watching these two running around and all that. So that is why they say, when I can casually say it's a soul, but at that level also there are different levels. Like in Shambhala, I think our teacher was saying, she gave an example. She was saying there is a child eating an ice cream, and somebody knocks at the door, and she opens the door. In one hand, she's eating her ice cream is there, and the guest, the person who comes to the door, asks this child, "Who are you?" So before the child can answer, right? Before the child can answer, three people pop behind the child, and one person, the first person says, let's say her name is Sneha. I'm the person who is watching Sneha. Now, so who are you? He'll ask the second person. That person will say, I am the person who's watching these. I'm the person who's watching the person who's watching Sneha. And then he'll ask, who's the third person? He'll say, I'm the person who's experiencing, who's experiencing, or whatever I can say in Hindi. They call, okay, I'm experiencing whatever. This watcher is watching this, and this watcher is watching that child, right? I'm experiencing the whole thing. I'm also watching, but I'm experiencing. I'm getting it. So she said like that. So there are different layers like this. Because in each level, there are different levels of experience going on. Some may be happening at a physical body level. Some may be having at a subtle body level. Some may be experienced in higher dimensions, which are maybe beyond the subtle body. So like I said, we are multi-dimensional. We are operating at different places in different ways. So somewhere it all has to merge, no? That is merging at the HDC, at higher level HDC. So whatever names we can call them, but there will be definitely different layers. But when we say enlightenment, it means that I have understood I am a soul and I've experienced it. That much only. Which level soul, that level soul, this level soul, it doesn't matter. There are different layers there also.
Or a part of HDC is within me, a part of it is outside me, and
Then you
when
still
I'm
feel
able to
incomplete.
make that connection and
No.
unity,
That
or-
feeling of completion is there within you. That is what is called enlightenment. You will not feel separate anymore. Again, if you say, oh, I am only this layer, I am in this level, there is one more level behind, there is one more level on top of me, there's one more level on top of me. If you're again feeling separation, you're not enlightened. The enlightenment means I am the Brahman. I may be operating at different levels and all. It's still the same me who has come down. The same, the person who was here only has basically lowered his vibration and come here. It doesn't mean he disappeared from here. He's still here also, which is what they say, Purnamada Purnamidam. He's here also. Source is here also. God is here. God only came down. God is still here. He replicated himself here also. He replicated himself here also. He replicated himself here also. He replicated himself here also.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll wrap up the class. Thank you very much for your questions.